we're getting down to the end. It's our favorite part of the show. We're Filipinos, so we know that we all love music. It's been such an amazing weekend with over 100 speakers and panels. This is like the Filipino version of South by Southwest. So congrats to the Undiscovered team for putting such a great event together. If you hashtag a portion of this Bridging the Gap performance, tag Mix Global as well as Undiscovered, and you'll win a ticket to either Billie Eilish, Joji of 88 Rising, Guap Dad 4000, or Daniel Padilla. So we'll be giving away a ticket to one of those concerts for one of those people that tag and screenshot this Bridging the Gap panel and today. So before we start, I want to give out some shout outs to everybody. Thank you all of you for joining, for taking the time to be here. Gina, Desi, RJ, and the whole entire Undiscovered team. All of the frontliners that are working, not just in the hospital, but in sanitation and retail and the food industries. To Collective Hustle for sponsoring the event. It's the reason why all of us got to come here for free. In case you didn't know, Collective Hustle is an ABS-CBN group made to empower the next generation of creators, leaders, etc. All of you that are watching. I also want to give a shout out to all the parents out there who have their kids 24/7 and have been working from home and dealing with homeschool. You guys are the real MVPs. I also want to give a shout out to all the couples who are still in quarantine. And still married and still together. This is tough times. And all my single people who are living virtually. So stay safe out there. Lastly, all of you guys that are subscribers on Twitch, to any of the artists as well as virtual gifters throwing the halo halo and the lichons down and the emotes for all of these artists, you know that every time you do that, you are supporting these artists. So, like I said, this panel and showcase is about bridging the gap here in the States and the homeland. And it's exactly what we do on Mix. Mix, in case you didn't know, is the #1 global platform for the next generations of Filipinos in the world. In the Philippines, we're the #1 music channel. And here in the States, we're relaunching to cover our stories, our music, Uniquely Filipino, on our radio station, on Dash Radio, on our Mix TV network, on Direct TV, Amazon, and across the globe at this event. Our mission is to share our stories uniquely Filipino, and we are blessed to have 3 amazing performers today. I really think that quarantine has blessed us with virtual events because not only is this event in the area, everybody around the world gets to experience an event like Undiscovered. So I hope you discovered some amazing talent. And if you haven't heard of these artists, you're going to discover some really great talent now. Up first, we have the one and only Jeff Bernat. So Jeff Bernat is a Filipino R&B soul singer, songwriter, producer based in LA. His first album, which debuted in 2011, reached #5 on the iTunes chart and has a placement in the Oscar-winning film Birdman, which ended up winning Best Picture. He has a #1 song in Korea and has worked with so many notable Korean pop artists. His recent EP, She Loves Me Not, which released this past Valentine's Day, hit over 1 million streams on Spotify in less than a month and now has over 10 million streams. Jeff has accomplished so much, and all by being fully independent, which is very rare. So follow him on Instagram at Jeff Bernat. For me, he's living the good life. You can see his beautiful home, his movie theater in his backyard, and his great vacations. So let's welcome the one and only Jeff Bernat.
Hello, hello. How did you know how'd you know all that? That's crazy. I didn't even tell you that. But yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm very blessed on this beautiful Sunday. God is good all the time. I'm over here chilling in my chinelas in the comfort of my own home and ready to play some music with y'all. Shout out to Kiana and Ruby, Rosalind, everybody that's throwing this. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all the Filipinos everywhere. I'm very proud to be Filipino, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So let me sing a couple songs for y'all. This first song is one of my favorite Usher songs, if you guys are Usher fans out there. This is one of my favorite songs. It's my little rendition of it. And yeah, shout outs to Ruby and Kiana and Chanelis as well. You know the deal. All right, yeah, let's get to this so you guys can hear from them. So yeah, this first song is called Simple Things. I really like the song because I was going through like a crazy breakup a couple years ago, and it related to me because I like look past at my mistakes and like all I realized like sometimes people just don't, all they want is just like simple things like time, especially. So this song's about that. But yeah, I can't take this seriously because the homegirls are talking in the chat right now. It's hilarious. Okay, let me focus. Simple things. They say money can't buy your love. Huh. They say money can't buy your love. Yeah. They never seem to listen. I'm all ears. Check. Just copped your girl a brand new Rolex. Yeah. But you can't never find the time to spend at home. You thinking it's gonna keep her happy, but time is all she wanted all along. It's the simple things in life we forget. You hear her talking, but don't hear what she says. Why do you make something so easy, so complicated? Searching for what's right in front of your face, but you can't see it. So you think that you know what's important. Steady chasing your fame and your fortune, but you don't know. You're chasing the time, losing the treasure. Those dollars don't make sense to me at all. It's the simple things in life we forget. You hear her talking, but don't hear what she says. Why do you make something so easy, so complicated? Searching for what's right in front of your face, but you can't see it. Thank you. Yes, that was one of my favorite Usher songs. And yeah, simple things in life, y'all. This next song is an original song, which actually relates to the same thing. Like I went through a crazy breakup in 2018 after being in a relationship for like 6 years, and this song is about like how things transition from like knowing that person.
So I'm hosting.
Then just
I'm the
having
TV
to.
host, and then.
Oh, is someone talking? Oh wait. Am I supposed to talk to Roz? Rosalind, come on, girl, you messing up my set. Damn, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So this next song, I totally forgot what I was gonna say because Rosalind cut me off. So sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm just gonna do the song now. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love you, Roz. But yeah. The song is called Changes, and it's talking about transitioning from like knowing that person and having to change and adapt to like this new reality of just like, okay, like damn, all these things are changing now. Like all this stuff is new, but like every time I try to look at everything and do everything, it still reminds me of you, you know? So yeah, this one is for all the ones going through a breakup. I'm not going through a breakup, by the way. This was like a couple years ago. Yeah. If there was a picture perfect, it would be us. I could be across the world and I would still have your trust. Don't even gotta question if I'm the one giving up, but you keep saying you've had enough. So tell me where to go, 'cause I have nowhere to hide. I just want you by my side. But do I still have your heart? Do I still cross your mind? Have we grown apart? Should we even try? I still keep your picture frame on the side of my bed. Acting like I'm good, but I can no longer pretend. Keeping myself busy trying to find something to do. But every time I try, somehow it brings me back to you. So what do I do? I don't know, no. See, I used to call you probably 10 times a day. But now we on the phone, but we've got nothing to say. And every time I hear our song, it don't sound the same. I don't know if I could do another day. So tell me where to go, 'cause I have nowhere to hide. I just want you by my side. But do I still have your heart? Do I still cross your mind? Have we grown apart? Should we even try? I still keep your picture frame on the side of my bed. Acting like I'm good, but I can no longer pretend. Keeping myself busy trying to find something to do. But every time I try, somehow it brings me back to you. I know things happen for a reason, but I'm tired of this pain I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm strong enough for these changes. 'Cause baby, I still keep your the side of my bed. Girl, you know that I still care for you. Keeping myself busy. It brings me back to you. Still keep your picture frame on the side of my bed. Acting like I'm good, but I can no longer pretend. Keeping myself busy trying to find something to do. But every time I try, somehow it brings me back to you. Thank you very much, y'all. That was fun. It's been a while since I performed, and I'm very honored that you guys asked me to do this because I really miss being on stage and on the mic. And I pray that God heals the world and we're able to get back on stage and touch people's lives. And I know it's a hard time for everyone, but thank God for this music and our art. And thankful for people like y'all that listen to us and give us opportunity to perform. Without any further ado, my homegirls are next up, Kiana and Ruby. They about to kill it. And shout out to Roslyn for cutting me off. You know, I'll always remember that.
I wanted a collab moment between both of us. I wanted to rap on your song. That's what it was. No, for
sure.
anyone, I know anybody can relate. So there was a 6-year-old, my stepson, that was here, and I was explaining to him what was going on, not knowing that it wasn't muted. But for any of the parents, you guys understand when you're on a Zoom call and you're doing work and people are running around, that it's a very virtual and live experience that happened. But let's put a 143 Jeff in the chat. So for everybody that loved his performance, everyone. Is it this?
How do you do that word, man? No,
Oh,
this is a Korean way right there.
I'm so glad.
I learned it from Ruby.
It's this, right? It's all your time you spent in Korea. I think it's like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody teach us how to do it. But 143 Jeff, everybody's saying, up next. Oh man, how can I explain Ruby Ibarra? Ruby Ibarra is a badass. I'm so sorry for cussing, but that's the way that I need to explain her. She was born in the Philippines, but raised in San Lorenzo, California. She is not only a scientist and a graduate of UC Davis, she is one of the leading Filipino artists of this generation. She is the co-founder of Pinay Rising, which is a scholarship program for higher education, arts, and activism for self-identifying Pinays. She is a successful producer, artist, and spoken word artist that is an advocate of cultural awareness and community. She makes music that fuses Tagalog and English and has been featured in nationwide MasterCard commercials and billboards. She has produced not one, but two music documentaries, Us and 7,000 Miles, that just came out. She's a frequently requested performer and speakers by colleges and festivals worldwide, and I'm so glad to have her. Let's welcome the queen, the one and only Ruby Ibarra.
Hi, Ross. Good to see you. I just want to say before I start my set, I know we want to keep it moving, but I just want to say thank you so much to the entire Undiscovered team, especially Gina for inviting me out today. I think what Undiscovered has put together, especially this weekend, is something very special and monumental for our community, especially here in the Bay, to just see Undiscovered continuing to grow. I've been very blessed, and I've remembered that I've performed for Undiscovered before. Specifically, what comes to mind is when I performed with the Balikbayans in 2018, and that will forever remain amongst the top 5 performances I've ever done in my entire career. It's just the community always coming together whenever Undiscovered puts together an event, and the fact that they also continually amplify the voices of the many artists in our community. So it's just, for me as a fan, I always consider myself as a fan of music first. To be a fan in this era, in this time right now, it's super exciting to see the rise of so many Filipino American talents, and not just Filipino Americans actually, but just Filipinos across the diaspora, across the world. And whether it's here on Undiscovered or streaming services like Kumu, just seeing talent rise and talent continuing to push the narrative and to share our stories and to make sure that we're all heard and that we're sharing who we are and claiming our space. And that, to me, is super beautiful. So thank you for letting me be part of this. The first track that I want to share with you all is one of the opening songs from my album called Circa 91. When I wrote this, I specifically had my mom in mind. I grew up as a 1.5 generation Filipino American. My family and I migrated to the US from Tacloban City when I was 5 years old. And I just remember being completely lost when we first moved here. I had no idea who I was, had no idea where I fit in this country, in this narrative, of this American media and this American narrative. And that to me has always been my constant battle, trying to figure out what is my identity, who am I, and what's my purpose here. And so when I was writing this song and this album, I had a lot of those questions in mind and a lot of those thoughts. And I just remembered that, having my parents in the back of my head, especially my mom, while I was going through writing these lyrics, it always empowered and inspired me. So I want to give a shout out to all the immigrant parents that are out there right now and all the immigrant kids, especially in a time like this that we are in right now in this country here in the US with the current socio-political climate. I know there's been a lot of things that's happened this year, but like Jeff said, we're going to get through it. Hey. I wrote this album cause I want my life to change. Tired of being shortchanged, I'm trying to remain sane. Hopped off the plane, didn't stop all the pain. My father's still in debt and we've been struggling to pay for a bedroom up on Meekland Ave. Reaching for just meeting half, hands tied against the odds. How you gonna even that? People from the slums once, now live in the humdrum. Mama from the barrio, so we dream and we can stunt once. Mama, I know it's gonna be fine wherever we go, cause we know your race is goal to dream and be a hero. Was an ego to an eagle. I free flow when I speak though. My pipe dreams through a peephole. My skin so Filipino. Oftentimes my pride inside is fighting high tides. They revoked the ocean. Was the day you learn to nosedive. Closed eyes, fingerprint ink with the most die. Those times mama never blinked. Say the oath twice. I said, mama, we gon' make it there. I said, mama, we gon' make it there. Yeah, I said, mama, we gon' make it there. I said, mama, we gon' make it there. Yeah, I said, mama, we gon' make it here. I said, mama, I'ma make it here. Yeah, I said, mama, we gon' make it here. Yeah. And we gon' make it this day. I feel the sun's rays, open up my eyes, I feel brave, cause I once made a promise to myself that I'm a vessel. So it's one way that I'ma take up space until I'm done. Let the song play, my friends say unpaid. These days be the worst days, we pray, they lay more cases at a worse rate. Help us find a way, rise up, carry this weight. Frontliners lead the way, and we thank them for the risks made. Worst case, fixed ways, fixed wage, missed days, but this case, this race, Tacloban City, birthplace, circa 91, cause we immigrants in this place, gentrified, displaced, stayed alive in this race, took a plane this way, across the ocean this way, settled in the bay, so I hit them with the this face, grew up in a way that I knew myself, I can't wait for another day to rise up, we'll make it someday. Once again, happy Filipino American History Month. Shout out to all the Filipinos tuning in right now. Yeah. We'll make it someday. Yeah, yeah. We'll make it someday. Hey, hey. We'll make it someday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, mama, we gon' make it there someday. I said, mama, we gon' make it there someday. I said, mama, we gon' make it there someday. I said, mama, we gon' make it there someday. I said, mama, we gon' make it here. Yeah. I said, mama, I'ma make it here. I said, mama, I'ma make it here. Yeah. I said, mama, we gon' make it here someday. Shout out to my band, the Balikbayans. They're not here with me today, but they did the backing track for that song, that version of the song. I'm just going to perform one more track for y'all. This is actually a mashup of two tracks. This next one is called Taking Names. I've been very fortunate and very blessed to have performed for so many Filipino American History Month events all this month of October, but I just want to say, please, please support all the dope local artists in your area. There's so many dope artists out there. Shout out to people like Rocky G, shout out to people like Classy, Rocky Rivera, Faye Santilli, of course, Bamboo, the OG. Please give love and keep supporting all the dope talents out there. Hey. And of course, shout out to Jeff and Kiana. Yeah. From Morro Bay to the East Bay, we stay survival where we stay. They keep in vain where we lay. There's no debating that we pay. That naval base up in Subic Bay to all the places that they tried to take. From Magellan's days to Phillips Strait, when the land was straight, then they changed the way. So my father drowning in the alcohol. Then my mama always be up in the Escanol, cause he stops to make the brown skin start to crawl. So he took the cushion just to break the fall. Second class citizen, never been one. Traded the paces so we can have ones. Darker the skin and you scared of the sun. Silence to speak with an accented tongue. All of these faces I'm looking like none. Taught to forget all the places I'm from. When we grew up on the barrio and slums, my aunties be drinking their red horse and rum. Never be stopping, the work's never done. Long as they keep on corrupting the funds, thinking the damage is done and they won. But we stay militant daughters and sons. Let's take it back to the day of first grade. All of you thinking and throwing me shade. My people are roses like glue in the shade. Became a complete exploited by trade. I kill them in a bar so hot, it's top notch. Check it that you top my stop, not on my watch. Like it's 12:30 on the dot on the clock. Watch, I'll see your hands up and down with the beat drops. And of course, I gotta end my set with this track. Shout out to all the Pinays out there, all the Filipinas, all my sisters. Hey, I know you're singing along, Ross. Alin woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown, brown woman rise, alamin ng yung ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Nothing on us, island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown, brown woman rise, alamin ng yung ugat. They got nothing on us, hey, nothing on us, hey, nothing on us. Yo, fuck the story arc if it don't involve a matriarch. Some others work from the ground up, they craft in air like ATR with the butterfly sleeves. Saka Pilipina, napagdasalita, magabanatay bala. Huwag magtaka kung ako ay makatapulok na sistema ko. Rapot sa pera bagsak, but we put in our heart into darkness. They putting these pigs in the office. You thinking you're schooling, but you're hella lost, cause you best see the boss while I talk this. But look at my ate, she moving so cold. Can't hold a Canada, her when she glow. Flick up the wrist with the ilo, she hold. Panago sa ilo, she dripping in gold. Island woman, rise, walang makakatigil. Brown, brown woman rise, alamin ng yung ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. tigil. Brown woman, rise, alamin ng iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us. Yeah. Abani ko sa kamay at isang mikropono sabay. Arang tapang koghe ng inay at halimaw nang sumasabay. Mga bara nyo lahat sablay, mga rappers na puro bangkay. Tinamaan ko lahat patay, kaya walang mag-iingay. I got that Filipino phenotype, kayo mag-i-mestizo white. But give me that moreno light, that Rufio Aquino type. My Lola's they be speaking like those valley songs for polo knife. I breathe the ether, need no hype. Two tongues is sharper with the mic. I need no in my history like from a Readers weaving tight, they thieve until one piece of night. Just turn a casino light, hacienda like Aquino, right? Rodrigo vigilante type, they kill my titos left and right. When terror law just fills the night. Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown woman rise, alamin ng iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Nothing on us. Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown woman rise, alamin ng iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Isang bagsak. Thank you all so much. I look forward to the panel later on. And please give it up. Upcoming next, Kiana V, my idol. Thank you guys.
Ruby, you're our idol.
You know,
a few weeks ago you were live with Luke talking about how you influenced Eminem, and definitely that you're one of the best of all time. So thank you so much for joining us. Up next, like you said, we have the epitome of Pinay excellence. Kiana V is from Manila. She is currently based in Los Angeles, gaining traction in the underground music scene with her performance and sound. The successful release of her early EPs like Gray and See Me album are the reason why she's being seen through Southeast Asia and the world, paving the way with her latest sound. Kiana has been recently featured in Forbes, Grammys.com, Complex, Power 106, Acclaim Australia, to name a few. Her critically acclaimed releases, Safe Place, Corners, and 5:30 a.m. are all available and streaming now on all streaming platforms, showcasing her songwriting and musical evolution. Find them, put them on repeat, just like Ruby's music. Once you put it on, you feel empowered to get through your day. So without further ado, let's bring up the one and only beautiful Kiana V.
Hey! Oh my God, what an intro, Ross. I always feel like there's so much pressure after you talk about me, but I just want to, say hey to Jeff and Ruby. I've been a huge fan of y'all since forever, and I just feel blessed to be sharing the screen with you guys. I'm so grateful to be part of this. I haven't been home in Manila since February. I came to LA thinking I'd be just constantly in motion, but through this pandemic, I've learned to truly appreciate the Filipino community that has continued to support me and continue to make me feel at home and safe and secure and taken care of through this whole crazy season in the world. I feel incredibly honored to be performing here today with Jeff and Ruby, and I just want to thank Undiscovered for having me, and hopefully soon when we're all able to see each other face to face, when things are safer, we're all able to do this again. The next couple of songs I'm going to be performing have taught me so much about respecting the process and appreciating my journey and just focusing on the path that I'm on. I hope you guys enjoy it. This first one is called Corners.
Oh yeah. Tell me, are we crazy? Can't keep up with this charade. Breaking rules, it's getting hazy. And you've been owning my soul lately. Can't unravel your intentions. I'ma take my time before I let down my defenses, before we start crossing all the lines. Find me in the corners of your mind. Find me in the corners of your mind. Yeah, take it slow, boy, I ain't rushing. Wanna ease into the game. This may not even mean nothing, but let's gamble anyway. We started so swiftly, and I'm addicted to the flame. I see you trying to resist me, but you can't seem to break away. Find me in the corners of your mind. Find me in. Find me in. Ooh, find me in the corners of your mind. Find me in. Come find me.
That was Corners. I hope you guys enjoyed that. The next song that I'm gonna do was actually produced by Harv and Felicia, and I think they were just so amazing to be working with. And like I said, these songs taught me a lot about respecting the process and just timing in general. Both songs I wrote and recorded and produced last year, and if I had my way, if I forced my way, then I don't think they would be received the way that they have been. I hope you guys enjoy this. This is Safe Place.
Oh, the after party's dying, and the only thing I'm craving is you. Must be something in this drink, 'cause it really got me thinking about you. Damn, it's really over. Ain't the same, see it different when I'm sober. At the bar where I know you might show up, I've rehearsed in my head what I'd say. What if you chose to tell me? What if you chose to tell me? What if I didn't give you space, give you time? Would you have stayed? Battling with closure, fighting on my own. It's funny how I told you I'd rather be alone when you might save place. Your body is my sofa, I wanna be at home. Shoulda never told you. I wake up in the morning with a different mind. Would you still be on it? Can we forget why we ended? Who's wrong or right? Pick up where we left off, make up for lost time. What if you chose to tell me? What if you chose to tell me? What if I didn't give you space, give you time? Oh, would you have stayed? Battling with closure, fighting on my own. It's funny how I told you I'd rather be alone when you might 'cause you're my safe place.
That was Safe Place. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And the rest of my music is all on Spotify, Apple Music, etc., etc. Shout out to Ross for being a great host, and to Jeff and to Ruby. Thank you.
I told you not to make me cry. Every time I hear that song, the lyrics are so beautiful to Safe Place. You can find it on the 88 Rising, Paradise Rising EP. They did some songs in collaboration with Tarja Records, and that song is called Safe Place. It has just reached 1 million plays on YouTube alone. So thank you, Kiana V. Now we're going to talk about bridging the gap. You know, like Ruby said, there's been so many amazing events this month because it's Filipino American History Month. So we had Pinaista last week, Undiscovered this weekend. We have Friendship Games and FPAC next weekend. Collective Hustle is going to have their launch event soon. But what does this all mean? It means that, you know, we have our own culture. We have our own music. You know, it's time to celebrate. It's time to bridge the gap from the Philippines to the United States and rest of us, 120 million of us around the world. So let's bring them one by one in, but let's welcome Jeff Bernat, Ruby Ibarra, as well as Kiana V.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so how fire was this green room chat with everybody?
Yeah, I wish there was emojis.
Right, I know. People were like, I want to drop the Malacanang and the lechon for you guys. You all did amazing. You know, a collab needs to happen. Everyone is saying they love the performances. Such a great fire lineup. A great way to end Undiscovered. But you know, today is about bridging the gap. To us, it means connecting the diaspora between us and the homeland. So the first question is, and we'll go one by one each, is how do you feel your music is inspired or influenced by your Filipino culture and heritage? Let's start with you, Kiana. You know, you come from a very musical family. You know, us in the States, we call your father, Gary V, the Michael Jackson of the Philippines. But you not only bridge the gap between the Philippines and America, but for generations, I think from the first gen to the second gen and the third gen. And, you know, you've been able to live here in the States as well. But how do you think, you know, your music has been impacted by Filipino culture and heritage?
I think that a big part of the Filipino culture that I love is that that side of just being vulnerable and being open and I've said this before, being in love with love. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm a love song kind of girl. So I think that's
Must be nice.
that whole side of my music has been influenced by the emotional connection I have with the Filipinos as well, and with, you know, growing up there and seeing just how much everyone loves love.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, like, I do have music that's more on the upbeat side, and I think, you know, it's just there is a passion that comes through in our culture, whether it's connected to having a good time or putting some time aside to just reflect and enjoy quiet. That's I guess what has influenced me in my music.
Definitely. And what I really love about you, I mean, you took me around to the underground scene of the different clubs in Manila. You know, you collaborated with some great artists like Curtis Smith, but we can definitely see, you know, and feel the words. You can tell you're a Pinay through your songwriting because you can take the journey from 5:30, you know, waking up in the morning to Safe Place, going through a breakup. So definitely the love is felt through that. You know, and speaking of songwriting, Jeff, let's go to you. You know, you were originally from Reno, Nevada, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Born in Subic Bay.
Born in Subic.
Oh.
Yeah, born in Olongapo.
I thought you were born here. Okay.
No. Yeah, I was born in the Philippines. I've never been back, unfortunately, but I really want to.
All the promoters that are watching right now, because Jeff did sell out the Thailand in 5 minutes with 3,000 tickets, so we're gonna bring you back. That's you.
What was that?
We're gonna bring you to the Philippines.
Yeah, I want to. I really want to go to the Philippines, man. I feel like it's time, you know.
Yeah.
My mom
So
never brought me back, and like, yeah, I don't know why my parents never brought me back. Me and my sister. They said like they're scared because we can't speak Tagalog like that, and like they'd like kidnap us. But like, I don't know why they.
it was fine. If I could survive as a nosebleed, then you definitely can. There.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm pretty sure I'll be fine if I go back.
We'll take Ruby with us. We'll be fine. Well, Jeff, growing up in Reno and then you moved to Los Angeles, you collaborated with some great Filipino film artists like Jeremy Passion, and AJ Raphael. But how do you think, Filipino culture and heritage has influenced your music?
Oh man, I love like OPM music. Like growing up, like South Border Side A, of course, Gary V. Yeah, and I just noticed like Filipinos just are so good at R&B. Like it's just like in our blood, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I feel like I gravitated towards that for sure. And yeah, I don't know if there's like a Filipino sound, but definitely like Filipino artists inspire me for sure.
Definitely. You can hear that through your music and through your songwriting as well. But Ruby, let's talk to you. You wrote our anthem. Pinays have an anthem now, thanks to you and Classy and everybody on that song with us, or we call it Island Woman Rise. But, you continue to speak about your culture and heritage and all of your music. But, how has that really affected you? You were also born in the Philippines and you moved to here to San Leandro growing up. But you've had experienced both worlds and you showcased that through your music. And how has it affected, Filipino music and culture affected your music?
So for me, I think everyone can pretty much tell from like an album like Circa 91 that Filipino culture makes up my entire catalog currently. I always consider myself as a fan of music first. And so when I was introduced to hip hop, a lot of the artists that I grew up listening to were people like Lauryn Hill and Pac. And what I think allowed me to gravitate towards their music was the fact that they were storytellers. When you hear the first track on their album to the very end, first of all, it makes you not want to skip a track. And then second of all, after hearing an entire album in its entirety, you feel like you know exactly who that person is. And so that was my mission when I first started out as an artist, is I want to make sure that I make music where people know who I am and my truths, my experiences, that they're all reflected in the lyrics that I write. And to me to include Filipino culture, it went hand in hand. Because if I were going to be my authentic self, of course, I'm going to be talking about my experiences as a Filipino. And I think too, that I wasn't afraid to be political also when it came to expressing my Filipino identity, because I think that my very existence of being Filipina is born out of Spanish colonization, out of US colonization, out of imperialism. And so we come from this sort of history. And I think it's only necessary for me to talk about these things because we all know being Filipino is complex, whether you're Filipino American, you're Filipino Canadian, or you're Filipino in the Philippines. These are all different layers of complexity to our identity. And I think for me, I grew up trying to find a sense of belonging and trying to understand who I was and where I came from. And now in the present tense, as we both see in the Philippines and the US, there's obviously still a lot of work and discourse and dialogue that needs to be had. And so I'm just trying to, share these narratives, share these stories, and a lot of these thoughts in my music.
Well, on behalf of the entire community, thank you for all that you do, across from Washington, D.C. to Manila, what you continually educate the youth on issues, but as well, make it sound dope. And the thing that I love about you is like you grew up in 90s hip hop like all of us, so we could hear it and we feel it and we express ourselves through your music. But the second question is, for all of you, what was the moment that you realized that you wanted to pursue this career as a profession, not just as a hobby? And were there any big challenges you had to come over to pursue that? Again, let's start with you, Kiana. You've been singing since you were young, but you also moved to London as well, and studied fashion, and then you came back to music, and I'm so happy you did. But tell us about what that moment was for you. When you knew that you wanted to do this professionally, and you even took the move. You moved to Los Angeles and really started focusing on your career.
Yeah. Well, I spent a summer in London, and I was supposed to be studying fashion design, but every time that I had any free time, I was writing or recording with a friend of mine, and it didn't click until I got home and I tried to do something else, and I realized it just didn't feel right. It wasn't until I really got in the studio and I put myself out there and started recording some of the songs that I was writing that I realized, okay, I can't continue to do anything else if what I'm doing right now is making me feel the way that I feel. You know what I mean? It just, there's no other career that I can imagine myself feeling like right on the dot with in terms of my purpose in life, if that makes any sense. As far as, obstacles, I think I'm in my head a lot, and I tend to feel a lot of pressure, especially being the daughter of someone so iconic and so legendary. It's a lot harder for me to kind of introduce myself to the world as someone other than someone's daughter or this legend's daughter. And people tend to forget that I'm my own person, and I don't necessarily have the same goals and the same sound and the same opinions sometimes. And I guess every time I'm able to tune that out, I'm able to see my path a little clearer. And yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm like out of the woods and completely in the clear. I've completely overcome this kind of recurring struggle that I have, but I know how to cope with it better, I guess.
I think that's what we all love about you, Kiana, is your vulnerability. The way that you speak about anxiety, the way that you speak about, what you're going through, what you've went through is what everybody goes through. They have the decision making and the pursue to wanting to do what's in their heart. So I'm so glad you did, because you definitely developed your own sound. When I met your dad for the first time, I said, "Hi, are you Kiana's dad?" And he started laughing. So it's actually a really great blessing.
That's fun.
So Jeff, I gotta ask you, you're one of the few artists that's been able to be very successful independently, and which is really great. You've been really an icon for people that are wanting to, pursue this. But what was that moment for you? What was the moment where you're like, I'm gonna leave Reno and I'm gonna do this professionally, and this is what I want to do?
I think even before I moved to LA, because I started doing music seriously in like 2010. But I was working at the bank at the time and like going to college, not even knowing what I wanted to do. But when I started putting my music out on Tumblr, and it was like people started reposting it and reblogging it. Damn, it's been so long, I forgot what it's called. Yeah, reblogging it, and it was spreading. And then I started getting offers from different colleges, like, "Oh yeah, do you want to come out and perform?" I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy! Like, I've never been asked this before, And then my job didn't want to give me days off, so I was just like, you know what, I prayed about it, and I was just like, God, if this is like what you have planned for me, if this is what you want me to do, then you'll take care of me if I quit my job. So I quit my job, and I never worked again. And yeah, it's been a blessing. That's how I knew. I was like, okay, this could work, so
But you're still doing God's work. That's what's a blessing.
Oh, for sure.
You can
Amen.
go to LA, but I'm gonna be in your pen.
No, and honestly, like I feel like the more and more God continues to bless me, I know that I have like a duty to do more for people, because he's blessed me like tremendously, he's provided for me more than I even expected and I could imagine. So it's just like, okay, I always promise God, like, okay, like if you give me an opportunity to be on stage, I'm always gonna like speak of you. I'm always going to talk about what you did for my life, and a lot of people don't like know that, but like I'm very faith driven. Like I feel like I'm able to do all this because of my faith, and of course I have to work, so like faith and hard work. Yeah, a lot of things happen. So
I definitely,
yeah, man.
learned that about you. And so for all the artists watching, praise God in all of your songwriting or music, and that's how you can get 31 million Spotify plays, like Bernat recently has.
Dang, Jeff, I gotta go to church more.
Exactly. Let's go to church.
No, it's not even like that.
I'm just
I mean,
kidding.
like,
I'm just
yeah.
No, you definitely blessed, and thank you for blessing us with your voice. But speaking on careers and very important ones, Ruby, I call you like the Filipina superwoman because you have two amazing careers. You're helping find a cure for COVID or vaccine as a scientist, and you're also this amazing lyricist, and you've been able to balance both. But what has really kept you to pursue your career professionally and still maintain all of the different responsibilities that you have?
So for me, I don't think it was a specific event. I think it was more of a accumulation of events that happened in my career. The first one being the release of my debut album, Circa 91. I remember when I was first writing it and recording it, I had no idea if anybody out there at all was going to be able to relate to any of the lyrics or the skits. Like, for example, like me being on a plane and being questioned where I really come from. Like, I wonder, do people actually have people gone through this? And once it was released and the response that I got, whether it was through shows or social media, and it was even beyond the Filipino community of, just people of color and immigrants saying that this is exactly how I felt growing up. And I feel like I have a voice for the first time. I think that to me was the first time where I was like, I think I know what my purpose is as an artist. This is what I should be writing about. And because when I'm making this type of art, there's people out there that feel seen and they feel heard. And I think now when I think about the second moment of where I was like, this is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life, it was with the opportunity with the Billboard and the MasterCard. I remember it was January of 2018. Me, my partner, and my sister, we went out to New York City, and we went in the middle of a Times Square, and there was this massive billboard. Like, I'm 5 feet tall, I'm super short,
Crazy.
and just to see this is the same size as a building, I would have never dreamed that in my wildest dreams, like being someone from Tacloban City and migrating to the Philippines. Like, what am I gonna become in this new country? And to see that for the first time, I think that was kind of like the light bulb in my head, or that moment where I was like, I think I can make a career out of this. And so when I also think about the challenges that I face, I just want to remind people that, the career that I have, and I'm sure for a lot of artists out there too, like, none of this is overnight. I've been an independent artist for about 10 years now. I've been putting up videos on YouTube, putting up videos from like SoundClick back in the day when I was still a kid. And so this has been a constant grind from, not being paid to do shows at the start of my career to now having an influx of opportunities come my way. So I just want to remind people that it is a steady climb to get to the top. And that journey is going to be ongoing, but definitely don't give up. I hope that my career can help serve as an example that, if you just keep going at it, you'll get there, and people are eventually going to listen.
It's true. And speaking of listening, I was in Las Vegas with Ruby Ibarra, and we went to go see the Billboard chart-topping Sweetie. And the first thing she said to Ruby was, "Your video is dope. Your lyrics are dope." And it was just like,
hey, shout out to Sweetie.
That's what's up. That's
such
tight.
a monumental moment. But you've all performed in your respective hometowns, in front of Filipino crowds, whether it's Manila, in Los Angeles, the Bay Area. But what was it like bringing your music to cross over in another country and to perform there? We'll start with you, Kiana. I remember you performing, at Google and seeing the Filipino community at that event, and then New York, and then, at LA at Fly Girls, and everybody responding to your sound and your music. But tell us about that moment of taking your music to another country.
I said this earlier. I really do appreciate the Filipino community for always making me feel like so supported and appreciated. And it's definitely not what I was expecting. I grew up coming to the US and performing with my dad kind of like as a background singer, and I was just so honored, and I just felt so blessed to be here and to be, I guess, making a name for myself and to see the reactions. That's what got me. I just did not expect it at all. and it encouraged me, and I guess it really made me feel like, all right, well, maybe I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? It was a trigger for sure. It was a moment of clarity and a moment of anxiety, even if you guys understand me. It's you don't know what to expect when you're in a place doing something that you've never done. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's the start of a journey that I'm excited to continue going through, and yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm here with you guys. Like in Manila, we listen to your music too, so it's just crazy. Things are happening like at the pace they're meant to be happening, and it's just right now with you guys on screen, it's like full circle.
It is full circle. I mean, like I said, Kiana took me to some of the underground clubs in Manila. And so I got to really discover the different sounds that they had. And so when your video, when we first uploaded to the 88 Rising with Safe, you could see the comments, like people from Manila were so excited for the sound to come out. And I feel like you really bridged that gap, and people started to discover other artists from the underground because they looked into your catalog. So, praise to you for being able to do that.
Yeah, I love that. I think ultimately that's the goal, is to let people know that the artists in Manila are there. Like we're all there. We're all here. And I believe we have what it takes.
Exactly. A really good original songwriting and music, just like there's pop culture in all of the different countries, there's also an underground scene. And I think that's what Filipinos worldwide can really do, is bridge the gap and, show this. And that's what we love bringing together on Mix. But speaking of pop, Jeff, I'm coming to you. So
I'm not a pop artist. I'm just kidding.
No, but you did have a song that broke out in Korea because it was featured on a TV show. You did perform at sold out shows in Thailand and Korea. Tell us about that experience. And you also write with a lot of Korean pop artists, these huge hits. But, how is it for you getting your music heard or performing in those APAC or Southeast countries?
I don't want to talk too much about this because I know we have like a couple minutes left, so I want to give time for Ruby. But just to let you guys know, my biggest song is my least favorite song. It's the corniest song I've ever written, but for some reason people love that corny stuff in Korea and Asia. But I mean, I wrote that song when I was like 19 years old, and it's like my biggest song, which blew up in Korea. And I'm not gonna knock on it because I'm thankful for it, but I'm like, I wish you guys can like listen to my other music more. But yeah, it's an amazing feeling to perform outside of the US and like go to different countries. It's like, it's an amazing feeling for sure. Yeah, I'll let Ruby speak now.
Definitely. We have one more question before we go. I know we're pressed on time, but Ruby, you just released your documentary, 7,000 Miles. It's about you traveling to the Philippines and performing, and I can't wait till we do our screening in LA. I'm manifesting it.
Yes,
Wait, is it out? Is it out?
We just premiered it on Wednesday
To a sold out crowd with Leia.
Dude, you have to like give me that link so I can stream it in my backyard.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fighting myself right now. If you have the film in your backyard.
Oh yeah, but
there.
I know.
All right, 9 o'clock. I'll see y'all. 9 o'clock.
But Ruby, why was that important? Every time you go to the Philippines, it's memorable for you. But you brought your team with you. You brought the Balikbayans with you. Why did you capture that on film? And how is it every time you perform in the Philippines?
So that particular trip was in 2019 in March. We performed at the Malasimo Festival. And that was very special to me because, one, I got to bring my entire band with me for the first time. And two, I got to perform the Circa 91 album in its entirety. And I remember just being super nervous how it was going to be received in the Philippines. And our very first night, before I even got to performing the song Us, the first row was all women, all Filipinas, and they were already chanting "Island woman rise, walang makakatigil." Every place that we went to, whether it was Wishbus, Saguio, Makati, like people just, they reciprocated the love and the energy, and that's, I think, to me, honestly, at the end of the trip, I felt like we earned the name Balikbayans after going there. Like, as we all know, like this is always this constant relationship between the motherland and here, if you're, if you're across, if you're abroad, and there's always that goodbye, that farewell that happens. But I think ultimately through music, through arts, and through what Undiscovered is doing, we have other ways to connect back home. So I'm very thankful.
Okay, I wish I had more time, but I'm going to end it on this question because you guys have all had such amazing careers. Let's start with you, Ruby. Like you said, you did 7,000 Miles. You also produced Us. You performed at the Getty, Smithsonian. You did a song for Always Be My Maybe. Performed at Sundance for the memorable film A Thousand Cuts. But out of all that, what has been the most memorable experience for you thus far in your career, and why?
Being on this Undiscovered panel, because Kiana V and Jeff Bernat are my idols.
Oh my God!
Get
Stop
out
it
of
right
here! Get
Oh,
out of here!
That's my answer. Bam!
And because I'm hosting, hello.
And because Ross,
Ruby, I can say you finally made it. Honestly, you finally made it because of this.
and I'm so proud now.
Wow. This whole month, Ruby's performing at all these amazing events. No, but Ruby, come on, say one memorable. You got to have one that's been like, just
My memorable moment was my anniversary show in Los Angeles. We did it at the Bootleg Theater last year, January.
Yes.
And for the last song, 7,000 Miles, I brought my mom on stage with me. And she was hugging me from behind the whole time that I was rapping the lyrics that I wrote to her. And for me, it just felt like everything came full circle. Like I finally was where I belonged. That's how I felt.
If anybody that's in the chat right now that's Filipino can relate. When your parents know what you're doing and they're like, "You're okay," that's like the moment, right? All right. So Jeff, we said it before. You headline shows in Korea. You sold out a show in minutes in Thailand. You had 31 million plays on Spotify. Oh yeah, last year alone. But what for you? What has been most memorable for you, and why?
I'd say headlining a festival with some of my idols, Music Soul Child and Maxwell.
Yes.
Yeah, so like it was just amazing, like going right before them and then seeing them backstage, and I'm just like, I told Music Soul Child, like, oh my God, because of you, my music is what it is. Like you influenced me in so many ways. And yeah, that was like, I'll never forget that feeling.
Oh, definitely. Oh, Just Friends is like probably my favorite song.
Oh my God, that's like that's one of the Filipino anthems for sure.
Music without being Filipino.
Yeah.
All right, Kiana, last up to you. Like I mentioned, you just reached 1 million plays on Safe Place with 88 Rising and Treasure Records with the collab. You performed at the legendary Times Square MTV building, and you're an All-Wit Award winner, which is the equivalent of the Grammys in the Philippines. But
wow,
what is it for you? What was that moment for you where you're like, wow, this is very memorable, and I'll always remember that?
Yeah, there are so many. I can't really decide. I think one of the most memorable was two friends of mine had this huge concert in Araneta Coliseum, which is a huge space in the Philippines. And I had always watched concerts there growing up, and I performed there as a kid, but they had me on as a guest, and I got on stage and I sang one of my songs, Does She Know? And I didn't even have to sing the hook because everyone in the crowd was singing it back to me. And I think I wasn't expecting that at all. I was expecting to go out there and people look at me like, oh, just another guest. You know what I mean? And that was memorable for me because when we got off stage, we were a group of friends just like, we did it. Oh my God. And yeah, that was, I'd say, that's the first thing that really popped into my head. So,
well, shout out to the Manila Genesis team and Tarja and everybody that's working with you. But I think all of you guys can agree, right? That moment when you see someone singing the lyrics back to you, you're like, wait, you know the words? I can do this.
Like, wait, what? That was in my notebook. Like, what?
Yeah, like I had to learn Tagalog to sing Ruby's song, and I'm so glad because I know phrases walang magkakagad and isang bagsak. I googled it. I was like, shit, this is dope. What you saying? So You guys do that for everybody. But, we're out of time. Thank you so much. Any final words you guys want to say to your fans, not just here in the States, but across the world? This is specifically Undiscovered. This is specifically a highlight to Filipino culture. And that's why, we did these specific questions. But is there anything you want to say to your fans worldwide? Ruby, let's start with you.
I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that's shown me so much love and support these last couple years. And again, please support all the artists that are out there in the communities. There's so many dope upcoming Filipino American artists out right now. And for the artists that are out there, give everything that you have in what you love. And, talent or interest will only get you halfway there. But really, it's the commitment, the passion, the drive, the hard work that's going to get you far. So keep going.
Definitely. Jeff.
I just want to say, kung kaya kung iwan.
Come on now.
One of my favorite songs. I had to do it.
I know.
I
love that.
I just want to say, it was a blessing to be on this panel with you guys, and I hope we could do it in person one day.
Oh, that is so true. Thank you, Jeff. Kiana, my love, how do you want to end it?
I just want to say really thank you, and I'm just so appreciative of all the fans that have been with me since day one. I don't think I would be able to keep going without their messages of support and encouragement. Of course, my family and my team. This is just the face. You know what I mean? There's so much that goes on behind closed doors. There's so many people working behind each artist that aren't always mentioned or brought to light. So I just want to thank my team. And of course, thank you guys for having me and for fully embracing me into this whole community. And I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope to be all together soon.
Thank you, Kiana. Thank you so much to all three artists for continuing to bridge the gap throughout the world to Filipinos worldwide. Remember, our community is 120 million people worldwide, everybody. Well, thank you so much to Collective Hustle for, having this free event for us, or the reason why we're able to come for free. Make sure you follow Kiana V, Kiana VEE, Ruby Ibarra, and Jeff Bernat on Instagram. And make sure you check them out. They're on heavy rotation on our Mix TV TV network on DirecTV and Amazon, as well as our Mix radio station on Dash Radio. So now to end today, I'm going to kick it back to the amazing Undiscovered team. Gina and team, let's close it out. Thank you guys so much. Salamat and mas mahal.